live. We'll do it live. Hey, what's up, YouTube? You're welcome. Welcome. You're on the scene here, and let me get the charts up and ready. There's that, and we're good to go. All right, so SPY coming down off of S1, now just giving it all back down to S3. There's NASDAQ, and there's the VIX, getting ready to open the market here. In terms of contracts here, I'll be looking at SPX contracts in the June futures, by the way. If you didn't catch that message, I'll be looking at June futures instead of the March. So be aware of the change. There is a little bit of discrepancy in price there if you're looking at the trading view. That's just why I made that change. I think it's potential. There's potential for that to happen. So, all right. So we got a green candle out of the gate. Everything on the list is very much green except for oil. I do expect a little retracement of oil here if there is good news with Russia. Although most likely, I think that headline is it may be a little off. We'll see. I don't really trust Putin, so we'll see. Nasdaq big red, SPY little green, and VIX has just been coming off that 28 area, finally breaking under the 30 level for the first time in a good bit. So, very curious to see how the rest of the morning in action and really shakes out this big pop in headlines. Now we're just sitting here just under S1. And SPY is 428.46. NASDAQ has got a little buy up. And there's a nice little healthy green candle. Take a look around. NASDAQ's up 0.95. ES is up 0.53. So tech's just a touch higher relative to the S&P with that news being bought up. Good morning. What's up? How's it doing? I didn't see a headline Ukraine related. Yes. So Putin came out and said that negotiations with Ukraine have reached a positive point, whatever that means. So they didn't give any details. So it's a little unclear what they're saying. Who knows what that means? I don't see Ukraine conceding anything. So hey, I mean, as we speak, there's headlines being posted that they're surrounding other cities and they're still firing rockets. So who knows? I don't see a lot of that coming to fruition. I just think it's a lot of banter. You know, Putin likes to bump his gums. So Tesla's still dropping there, 0.08, giving back a little green. I am barely green on these contracts. What are I trading right now? 42.79. So I'm up about 1 point on these ES contracts. If I don't see a little bit more green here, I'll go ahead and close them out, and we'll readjust here because I definitely don't want to face downside, especially with tech dropping this hard. We'll see though. We'll see. Big old red candle on the NASDAQ. All right, so let's take a look around the top 10 here. Apple's going to be on top here. Big red on Apple. Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla. All of tech is just selling off here at the bell. Facebook, Google, NVIDIA, every single one of the top 10 are red and falling. XLK, same. XLV is just a little red but flat. XLY is coming off. XLE is up. XLF, big pop in there, and XLF. Let's take a look at the bonds. Bonds TLT, dead flat. And TNX, still hovering over 2. They haven't moved. So the rates and the bonds haven't really moved. They're pretty much flat. Can you update TV to show levels? They should be. They should be good to go. I haven't changed anything from yesterday, so they should be good to go. Just make sure you're using the link, the new link. I post a new link every day on OM Analysis. Make sure you're using that link. All right. Am I missing anything by typing in the levels myself? Nope. As long as you're typing in the values, absolutely not. And in fact, that's what I used to do before I started using blah blah blah's indicator. It's just a convenience thing. That's it. It saves me a couple of minutes to just copy and paste into his indicator instead of hand jamming them myself. All right, so a very muted open. S&P is still hasn't moved off if its opening price is hanging out right here, just a touch under S2. VIX, all that as well. Nasdaq had a little red candle, but no follow-on so far. Everything else is green. All the price action across the top 10 is correlated, and the X's as well. So if you are looking at futures pricing right now, I've got 42.75, 42.75. So just make sure if you are using your March contracts, you're going to see 10 points higher. You're probably going to see somewhere around 42.85, 84. So yeah, just make sure if you are trading June contracts, make sure that you are appropriately seeing that on your broker and trading view. If you're using the ES1 exclamation mark indicator, and all that exclamation mark means is it's using the most recent contract. TradingView has already flipped that indicator to June. So you're going to see a little price discrepancy there. Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. So my thesis for the day will be formed on how it adjusts from here. Because obviously we had this massive gap up, this massive pop. It's very common for this to come down and fill the gap. ES is already almost to where it was prior to the pop. We've got about 8 to 10 more points before we actually get there. If that does happen, maybe we'll look for a bounce there. If we continue to sell off, then we notice that then we'll know that the market is disregarding that headline outside of that pre-market pop. So once we get to that level, if we do, then I'll start really forming my thesis on the day. And then if we start to become bullish and overtaking or retracing back up to the headline pop from the pre-market, then we can start talking about the upper levels, the 4368s, the 4369 level that I've got, which is a very strong upward resistance. We have 4344, then 4369 if we do get up that high. And once we kind of breach that, we might start talking about a possible short squeeze going into the afternoon before the weekend, as shorts no longer want to hold risk throughout the weekend. So there's a couple of different scenarios if we do bounce from that pre-market level and start going up. And then, of course, if we reach that level and continue to sell off, that's a different conversation altogether. A little bit of a if-and statement as we negotiate from here. Yep, Krez. Yeah, for sure. I still think in the short term we will see 4,400 breached. I'm sorry, 4,000 breached, not 4,400, 4,000. But that's not today. Obviously, that's going to be in the upcoming weeks. Unless I see something crazy, change in a large manner, I still think that we are going to see 4,000 below soon. When you do a Fibonacci retracement, do you do it on a different time frame than the one you trade in? I'm looking to do that on the daily chart, the fib retracements. Just because I'm doing fib retracements and the RSI and the Mac and the TTM, all that stuff, I am doing that on a longer time frame. So the reason why I don't do that daily is because I'm doing a longer time frame. So I take a look at the daily chart, and that's going to tell me a long-term thesis on where can I expect a bounce based on the fib retracement. So still not a lot of movement here, just hanging out kind of on the side. Am I still long ES? Yes, I am still long ES. Still long. So ES SPY coming down just under S3. Future or at Nasdaq coming down right back to pre-market levels, and ES is coming down right on S3. Let me take a look. I need to bring this here. Boom. And all right, so the European market is got a little red action coming on here, and they're retracing back down as well. So everyone's just coming back in and backfilling that big gap. So there's a red candle through S3, and we've got. Let me make sure I've got the right contracts. 42.66 here, right? All right, so now we've retraced everything. So that gap, the big green candles from the pre-market pop are now gone. It's completely gone. We've retraced all of it. Boom. I'm going to add a little bit larger position here on the futures here. So 4266 right there. And yeah, so now beyond this, I will consider my thesis failed. If we continue to smoke down through here, then I'll look at readjusting. But right now, I'm still placing the money in the position where I think we are going to go back up, or at least a little bit of retracement after we have this downside, after filling the gap, basically. Any chance I could redo the chart? Hold on a second. Let me post 1 second. All right. Any chance you could redo the chart to just show SPY? Sorry to keep bothering you. A lot of us can see levels. I need to be able to monitor all of these. I have to be like I've reduced it as much as I could, because normally I've got like 5 or 6 up there, but with this 3, I was able to monitor VIX, a Nasdaq, and SPY. All right, bounce right off of S3. Right off of S3. So energy's coming up here. I do want to take it. Some people said oil is spiking. I'm just going to come over here for a sec and take a look at oil. What's it doing? So oil is coming up a little bit off of 104 back to 107. And Nasdaq's here. Not gonna lie, I started watching the Boeing documentary last night. I only got about 20 minutes in though, so I'll see if I can finish that up here in the upcoming days. But very interesting, interesting to say the least. Especially coming from a pilot point of view. Hearing the CEO come out and say they don't want to give information to the pilots because they don't want to inundate them with information is a bunch of crap. We as pilots are we are accustomed and trained to handle that kind of information on our systems. All right, so futures position is in the green here. Let's see if we get any kind of rally off of S3 now that the gap is completely filled from the futures point of view at least. Am I a pilot? Yes, I am. Why, yes, I am. All right, so from here is where I'll form my thesis, because now we've had very healthy action. We've had a big green pop on headlines. Now we've had a full retracement of the price. So now I've seen a healthy retracement. That's a good thing here. Now where do we go from here? And I'll start figuring out my thesis and my plan from here. Going on there. Join my Discord today. That's Darren. Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you. Let me know if you have any questions. Yeah, 6 monitors. I don't have 6 monitors. I only have 2, but I do like to monitor a couple of different charts, especially when you've got a divergence. When we have a headline charged environment that's very volatile, we do have a little bit of a divergence. We've seen it a couple of times this week. where financials are up. Tech is a little heavier, so SPY and NASDAQ are not really correlated. Not to mention yesterday morning we had a little wonky action with the VIX. We need to be aware of that. VIX was down heavily and the price wasn't moving all that much, where normally if we see a big sell-off in the VIX, we see a considerable pop in the S&P. And then if VIX were to go up, S&P kind of goes down. Usually that's the normal action we see, and we weren't really getting that yesterday morning. We did start to see it correlate there in the afternoon, but not in the morning. All right, so I'm up a couple of points on these ES contracts here. I'm going to let this shake out a little bit here, and we'll see here. I want to be very conservative with these. I don't mind risking a little bit of loss on this ES play here because if we do bounce back up and refill back up to the pre-market high, I could have a considerable win. I could grab 120 ES points here, which would be a fantastic win on the day here. So I'm just kind of letting things shake out right here. And what I'll do if we do get a breakdown, I'll like to scout puts to the downside to hedge the ES position instead of just close these babies out altogether. Until a certain point. Once a certain point is reached, then I'll just go ahead and close out the ES and we'll just play the downside altogether. But I'm just putting my chips on the table, and let's see where the cards fall. Can you explain the rubber band theory I heard you mention yesterday? Yeah. So when I've got my SR levels, I don't look at those as like a piece of glass where the second the price action touches it, they break. I like to look at those as rubber bands. So yeah, the price action is going to touch it and just stretch the rubber band a little bit of rubber band, but it takes some oomph. It takes a little momo and volume to blast through those rubber band levels. Obviously, if you want to break a rubber band, you're going to have to stretch it a considerable amount, or at least hit it really hard. So that's the way I look at particular levels here. So, for example, right here, yes, we are through S2. I don't consider it breached yet until we start to have a follow-on, and then through S3, S1, and S3. And the rubber band is stronger at the levels with plus signs. So right here, S1 and S3 are both plus signs. By the way, we just bounced right off of S3. Once again, the plus signs are working really well. So when we see a level with a plus sign, that is where I'm going to look for price action to get really strong to get through there. Man, I was up there pretty good there, but we'll see. We'll see. PVI, all right, over under, good deal, good deal. Will you be looking to take a position SPY today? Right now, well, SPX, which what I'll do when I start seeing a play, we'll play some SPX options. Then if you choose to play SPY, you can, and I'll post the equivalent. So I'll post my SPX play with the equivalent SPY play, if that's what you so choose. Some people were talking yesterday about, they want to see me play more longer DTE stuff, and that's fine, whichever. However, I will encourage you, play it with your comfortable. You don't have to play my plays. If you want to follow my entries, cool. Enter at the same time, but play whatever contract you want to play. It's still the same thing. It's just whatever risk tolerance or play you want to go with, go for it. All right, so a little bit of green, followed by just a touch red, bounce off S3. NASDAQ still holding down, VIX is still coming up. Looking through here. Russia is banning imports of all Russian alcohol. Uh-oh. When you do look to choose a contract, any specific delta and theta value you prefer? Theta, I don't really focus too much on theta on my day trades like this. Deltas I'm looking at anywhere from between 0.31, 0.32 up to zero point 0.4, somewhere in that range. With the implied volatility being this high and things being a little crazy with the premiums the past month or so, I haven't been focusing too much on those deltas normally because everything's been so skewed to the upside. It's been egregiously skewed away from what we normally see the past couple of years. I've heard talk about your Tier 4 Discord with a different guy. What does that level bring to the table? What's your pitch for getting people to sub into it? What's up, Shred? Yeah, so Tier 4 is Veteran. If you've ever heard of Veteran, he's been on our server for since its inception back in April. But he's been giving everything away for free, helping. He is a $680 million fund manager, and I guess a fund manager because he's a pretty fun guy. Fund manager. He provides weekly plays, weekly ranges, a lot of spreads, premium writing, as well as position defense. I think his really highlight, his claim to fame is position defense. That dude can defend any situation you throw at him. He can defend it and end up with at least a break-even position, or if not a minimized loss position. So the dude's an awesome insight. He gives market callouts in terms of what the market's going to do at specific times, specific points, and will help you navigate waters. Awesome stuff. It comes out to $6 a day. So if you wanted to shell out $6 a day, at least try it for a month. It's fantastic. Highly recommend it. You at least try it for a month, and I guarantee you'll want to hang out there. So try it out. Try it out. You can head over to the Patreon link down in the description of the video and sign up for Tier 4. For just $6 a day. In the arms of the angels. Give me a little Susan Sarandon and do a commercial for a little vet. That'd be awesome. Fun guy. I love it. The application process for Ukraine is moving at a breakneck pace. Red candles off of S2. Have you gone over your new Palantir thesis yet? It gon' rain. That's my thesis with Palantir. Sarah McLaughlin, Susan Sarandon, yeah, one of those. There's a lot of S's there. Let's just say this: I am no longer long on Palantir. That's it. I'm not gonna get into details just because I'm not sure how far down that rabbit hole I can go. But I'm just let's just suffice to say, I am no longer long on Palantir. Are you short? Hypothetically, no, just because it's already so low. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, it could go to zero, but me personally, I'm no longer long. My long thesis on that was based on a certain principle and a certain maneuvering within the government military structure, and that has no long has shown that it's no longer going to happen. So I'm removing my long thesis. Any technical difference between MES March and June futures? Yeah, there is a difference in price. There's a difference in price. All right, so we've got coming right back down to S3. All right, let's see here. Biden talking on Russia today might see a rally. Yep, the old Biden bounce. The old Biden bounce. Yep, links in the description of the video. Let me know if I need to grab that for you. Here, I'll grab this right here. There you go. I'll put it in the comment section. Yeah, China has lockdowns again for COVID. I saw that. Quite surprising, but you know, it is what it is. All right, so big red candles starting to pop new lows, new lows here. I'm going to flip over to SPX just for a sec. So we've got a little bit of retracement area gap down to 4260 right now on these. So as of yet, there's not really any buyer strength. We had the big pop up. We've retraced back down to pre-market levels, but now there looks like they're going for the gap. They're going for the SPX gap from yesterday's close. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up SPX puts for March 11th. And let's look at 4260 puts. Had a rough week. Trades didn't work out. Lost a good amount of cash and buying power. On the bright side, now I have no option but to trade smart. There you go. You got to trade smart. Bounce back. You're never out of the fight. You're never out of the fight. Huge gap up, then a sell-off. It doesn't make any sense. It makes great sense, but you really have to understand price action and the way the market works and the volume behind the market works. We had a big, big gap up on a headline, which creates a huge vacuum below that price. It's unhealthy for that to happen without a retracement back down. So when you've got a big pop up from what 4270ish all the way up to 4330, now we're going to fill all the way back down. Once that happens, those orders are fulfilled because you have to remember SPX doesn't trade pre-market. SPX trades during the actual open hours, the RTH, regular trading hours. Now, yes, there are some brokers that offer 24/5, but big money is not trading SPX overnight. So you've got this big smash gap up, 4330. Now the market has to fill back down to fill those orders, to repair all of those volume levels, the demand levels between 4330 and 4270. So now we're coming all the way back down to fill that gap. It's nice and healthy retracement. And now once that's completed, we'll go back up. Potentially. I'm not sure if we're going to go back up, but I know that seeing this fill all the way down is healthy for the market. You have to just understand basic price structure and price analysis. So when you see it, especially on a headline-driven narrative, when you've got a headline that really pops it up, then you could really expect things to come down, unless it's an incredibly bullish headline like, I don't know, United States cures cancer or something like that, and we rally to 5,800, stuff like that. But we'll see. Do you redo daily support resistance every day? Yes, I do. Every day I post new SR levels. Oh man, Patriot Supply shipment arriving today. Very nice, very nice. My emergency food's coming today. Love it, love it. So SPX has dropped to 42.69, I think, 42.71. Let me see. I got the SPY charts up there. So yeah, we came down to 42.70, so we didn't break into the 42.69s yet. 42.67 to fill back down would be fantastic, but we'll see. We'll see. Right now, we're still hovering right back on S3. Yeah, not to mention, remember today Biden speaks. So the old Biden bounce, the old Biden bounce. Prepper, yeah, I wouldn't use that word. Uh, I guess it is, but I've got a family. You never know, and my biggest thing is obviously I don't think the world's going to go to crap, but with the supply chain the way it is, I think it's probable that we could see some sort of food shortage in the grocery stores, and that's my concern. I've got a family to feed, so just planning for some short-term food shortages in the grocery stores is a good idea. So, hey, red candle right off of S3, smoke show. VIX bottom wick right up. Let's see what's causing that. Boo. Right down to S4 again. And it looks like we are completing the gap fill from yesterday's close in 5 minutes until the morning range. Massive red candle on SPY from 427 to 425. Bam. And coming up on the 10:05. So we're back in the crazy town. We'll see. We'll see. So red candle off of S4, and we got 4 minutes until the morning range is set. So SPY topped out at 431. Now we're down to 425 and change, 425.95, so like 426. Coming up on 10:05. VIX pop from 28.87 now 30.20. Let's take a look here. XLF is red but fly sideways, and energy's coming off, which means oil's coming off there. XLY coming down. XLK, so tech starting to turn a little red. Apple there. There's that. Microsoft. There's Amazon. There's Tesla. Smoke show. Just complete sell-off on Tesla from 847 to 819. But that's pretty much the common for Tesla. They are usually big up or big down. They're never freaking sideways. Up 6%, down 4%, up 2%. Facebook sold off as well. Google and Nvidia. Straight down on Nvidia. Boom. New lows. All right. Here we go there. And 42.50s. Where are we at? 42.59, 42.50. Bring it up 42.50 puts March 11th on SPX. If you're going to do SPY, let's take a look at 425s. I'm going to stick a little close there just because they are 0 DTEs. Yeah, there is an S5 right there. There is an S5. I actually have S6 calculated as well if we do go that far. So the gap is now filled from yesterday's close. 42.50s, 42.50s, and then the 425s if you're looking at SPY. So below here, if I start to see flush below here, I'll throw in some of these puts. So my inputs right now, new. I've got them up and ready to go. It is 10:05 though now, so I'm expecting a bounce here. If we don't, then we're going to see more considerable downside. What I'll do is I'll enter the puts, and what the puts will do is basically neutralize my losses on the futures longs. And then if we really start to go down, I'll go ahead and just close out. I'll cover the longs on ES, or close out the longs and just let the puts run. So that's my thesis right now. But it is 10:05 here. We'll see if we get any kind of bullish action to come back up to S3 and above. Any risk of leaving MES overnight or long term? Is there any decay? There's no decay. However, you have to be aware when you hold futures overnight, they are mark to market. What that means is that when you go through that settlement period that ends at that ends at 1800 Eastern time, that settlement period will open up, and then the broker will adjust the buying power out of your account. So if you hold a losing futures position, for example, they will adjust that buying power of your account. You'll wake up the next day with less buying power. So that's what you have to be aware of, and that's why if you're going to trade futures, just you have to be very cautious holding futures overnight, because you could very much zero your account or get margin called, or they'll force close the position, which is terrible. Not only for example, E-Trade, if E-Trade force closes a futures position, they'll lock your account because they don't want your account to go debited. If your account gets debited, that's no bueno. You never. I mean, that's horrible. So. Can I ask your view on next week before the FOMC meeting? Man, I my personal opinion is that within the next few weeks we're going to revisit 4,000. That's my personal opinion. Uh, Obviously, with the headlines going the way they are and things just going nuts, who knows what's going to happen? Things. We just woke up to 43.30 at 5 o'clock in the morning. So the headlines are charging the market one way or the other, and it's hard to say. But when they come out here, everyone's saying this negative action here we've had the past 2 months is just more fuel for them to take a little bit less harsher stance on rate hikes. But then, J. Powell says they're just going to proceed as necessary. So who knows? Who knows what they're going to say? It'll definitely be volatile. VIX is still going to maintain high 20s, low 30s. It's still going to be very volatile. Do I think we'll fill the March 9th gap on SPY? If we fill that today, then market conditions. That will change. That's a $10 lower from here on SPY. That's another 100 points. Not saying we won't do that, but if we do fill down that gap today, we'll fill it eventually, 100%. If you're talking about today, no, I don't think we'll fill that today. That would be very unhealthy for us to fill that gap today. It would change things. So, but if we do, so be it. I just don't. I'm not expecting that today. Hey, another red candle there on S&P. I've got puts up ready to go. March 11th, 42.50s. If we smoke below here, I will execute my thesis. Inputs 1575. 42.50s. Smoke show here, 424.95. All All right. This is getting dangerous here. We go below here, it could get very feisty here. So right there. Somebody just posted a link. What was that? Bam. Out 1650. All right. Not yet. Not yet. Sometimes it happens early. Sometimes it happens late. Where do you order MRAs from? I live in San Francisco. Always adding to the early. Patriot Supply. Patriot Supply. So there, it comes in a sealed container. I think it lasts for like 25 years as long as you don't open them. Have I tried MREs from other countries? No, I've tried MREs from other services, but not other countries. All right, so that bottom wick was good to see. It doesn't turn into an absolute smoke show. It came down, filled a little bit, and up we go, at least for now. Pound cake is pretty decent. Yeah, pound cake. My favorite, yeah, obviously, the different. Everyone tries to grab the MREs that they think has a high chances to have Skittles or M&Ms in them. But there you go. Thanks, Mojo. Oh yeah, the crackers and cheese, baby. Do they still make the omelet MRE? I haven't seen those. I haven't seen the omelets. All right, so far nothing but selling ever since that big pop. Nothing but selling. Losing on my thesis so far, but we'll see how we can manage it. Individual brokerage SPX. There we go. All right. Who posted that link for Biden? Let me click on that. Hold on a second. We will begin shortly. Biden announces actions to continue to hold Russia accountable. This market completely eludes me. Well, in the face of high volatility here, I mean everyone is really scrambling to. What it is, it's a moving target. That's the issue. So people try to go long right before the market turns bearish. They try to turn bearish right before the market's going long. It's a moving target, and they're yo-yoing back and forth trying to catch up to the market because we are shrekking 100 points up, 70 points down, 60 points up like it's nothing. We're making weekly and monthly moves in hours. Literally, in a single day, we're getting a week's or a month's worth of movement in the matter of hours. So, of course, it's going to be very difficult. It's not difficult for just you. It's difficult for me. It's difficult for everybody. In fact, if you look on Twitter, and I noticed this, I actually took a couple of screenshots. I noticed this. There are a couple of of traders on Twitter with 60, 70, 100,000 followers that are starting to post their resignation letters on Twitter. Like, hey, we had a great run in 2020. I'm closing up shop because I just took a $100,000 loss. That type of thing. Because these market conditions are very difficult. Everyone continues to try to go very long, and they get smoked. Everyone tries to go short, and they get smoked. And it's just back and forth, back and forth. So don't be so hard on yourself. These markets are incredibly difficult. But what you have to do is maintain small position sizes, maintain a thesis to protect yourself in the event that you're losing, and go from there. The number one thing you need to be doing in these market conditions is controlling your position size, small position sizes. So when you do take a big percentage loss, that percentage loss is very small relative to your account balance. Still holding the 4250 puts up and ready. Well, not holding them. I've got the order form up and ready to go. Currently trading for 15 bucks below here. I will throw in a put and then look at closing out the ES longs below here. Below here becomes unhealthy. We've got this retracement all the way down, which right now is standard procedure. Below this, then we start getting into the dump category, which I do not want to be holding long positions below here. I want to start playing downside positions. The great equity sale of March 2020. Yep, yep. You're very welcome, JE. Is this type of bear run normal for SPY? The past 2 months, absolutely. Everything's normal the past 2 months. Huge run-ups, huge drawdowns, everything. NASDAQ still straight down. I got 1450 on these puts, 1440. Right there. NASDAQ topped out at, I'm sorry, the ES topped out at 43.27, bounced off 42.41. That's a 100-point move from that headline high at 0620 Eastern Time. Nearly a 100-point move on ES already, coming off the highs. Am I in puts? No, I'm not. The only position I'm holding right now are my ES longs. I scalped in and out a quick put real quick within seconds, just because I wanted to protect myself from a smoke down. That's what I want to do. And I'm taking a put position that's proportionate to the size of the ES, so I could just freeze my losses. That's what I'm looking at here, is to freeze my losses. And then if we continue on down, I'll just go over, I'll close the longs, and I'll let the SPX puts run, and I'll negate as much loss as I can. But I'm not going to sit here and just hold ES hoping this goes back up. I'm going to play the opposite side of the trade, which is a benefit. It's a benefit if you learn how to trade futures and options. This is the benefit, because you can play the opposite side of the trade and manage the other side. Now, I don't want to do it the other way around. I don't really want to hold an option and then trade the opposite on futures, because then you're facing decay on the option. I want to hold the futures and then trade the opposite side on the options. That way, because the futures don't decay. And I don't want to face a 0 DTE decay on an option holding that baby all day long. I want to hold the option. Plus, we got the Biden bounce coming up. The Biden bounce. I'm still learning. About a year ago, started getting an idea of how to trade, then the market went to hard mode. I hope this insanity will make me a grid trader once settle down. Well, I said this, in fact, me and Vet were both saying this back in November, December, January. That was when this market downturns, when we have a shift in the sentiment of the market, it's going to smoke all these new retail traders, because all they know is buy the dip. Is things go up. Just buy, wait for it to trace a little bit, buy it, and just go long, baby. Hold that call forever. And that's just simply not happening. This market is incredibly hard mode. Incredibly hard mode. In fact, the hardest market conditions I've ever traded in. So that's what I'm really trying to open people's eyes, is that the days of buying the dip and holding are over. If you manage to buy the dip and get some green, you got to take them profits because it's coming right back down. It's coming right back down. If I got 5 MES, how can I hedge with puts? With how many puts? How many puts should I get? That's a decent. What you don't want to do is overextend yourself on puts just in case we do bounce and rally up. Now you're losing money both sides. So you don't want to do that. You want to take enough just to kind of freeze the losses. Take enough puts here where if we do start going down, the losses freeze. And all I'm doing here with those puts is I'm buying time. Hold on a second because we're starting to drop a little bit here. All I'm doing with myself is buying time to go over and close out my ES position so I don't face further losses. That's what I'm doing with these puts here. Yeah, but I'm not going to let this drop to 42.35 with longs. That's at that point that's becoming irresponsible. So what I'll do is I'll exit any below here. I'll exit my long ESs. I'll ride puts down, and then I'll look at a long position if I see any kind of bounce because my thesis is about to fail. Below here, it's too risky to hold. That's too big of a loss for me to want to look at. I do have an S6 up and ready. Let's see. I already calculated it this morning. 42410. 42410. Let me post that in home analysis. S6. 42410. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Going on my 11th year. 11th year. That is SPY. That is SPY. 42410 is SPY. So. All right. I am just about ready to throw in some puts because this does not look like it's going to hold. Booyah. I love your how-to videos. Plan on making more? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm always making more. How do you know when the market is sideways and not lose money trading, buying, options buying? Is ADX a good indicator for that? I mean, in these conditions here, I'm rarely going over a small position size. Futures, it's 2 to 3 contracts at the most. SPX options, I'm going a little bit smaller than usual because there's such a high level of uncertainty with this action. And the problem is, which, there's always a degree of uncertainty with the market, but the problem is in this market, when you are wrong to 60, 70, 80 ESPX points. So it's not just, all right, well, I'll just wait for this to go up 10 points and then come back down. It's like, all right, I need to wait for this to go down 80 points and then come back up. And that's just too much risk. So you got to make sure you're doing small position sizes because I can't tell you when the market's going to go sideways and when the market's going to go up. We have our time frame rules that we teach in Tier 4. We've got certain times in the market where we expect movement, and we play according to that. And then once those ranges set and once those time frames come to fruition, then we are planning our strategy based on the price action at those times. And if it tells us, hey, it's going to be a range, the probability says it's going to be a range day, it's going to be a trend up, trend down, then we make our plays according to that, the probabilities, because no one knows. Nobody knows for certain what's going to happen. But you got to play to the probability of your system. And here we go, breaking down again. All right. 1690, 1710. What's our average percentage take on profit? It depends. It depends. It all depends on the certain conditions. It all depends on the conditions. So obviously the market anticipating Biden coming out and undoing what was going on here in SPX. Although here's a little bit of a bounce. We'll see. ES is now 4250. ES. SPX is 4260. Still holding S5 here. A little bit of green. See if we can come up through the ADMA and go up. What time is Biden speaking? We're waiting. We're waiting on him now. Which, you know, he is consistently late. He's late. He's not punctual. Not punctual. What time do you usually enter a PCS CCS when it's going to be somewhat range bound for the day? I like to wait about here. So anywhere between here and 11 o'clock Eastern time is when I'm looking to enter CCSs and PCSs for the day. I've been kind of holding off on a lot of the daily stuff because of the nature of the market. Although a PCS here wouldn't be a bad idea as long as we get a confirmed cross up here. Still have the 4250 puts up and ready until we get a confirmed upwards mobility here. VIX got some red. Forty-two fifties. March 11th, 4250s. 425s if you're doing SPY. I think we're just kind of on pause here until Biden starts speaking. I wish you'd just come out and start talking here, but yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. What do you think about taking further outside the money contracts in order to manage risk on a small account? Do you mean taking them further out so you can get smaller position sizes? Is that what you mean? Because those are gonna move more aggressively if they're outside the money like that. Yeah, yeah. I think it's a great. I mean, everything you can do to maintain position size. If you only have a couple $100 account, then you're going to have to make plays like that to lower your position size. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Don't just look at the trades that I'm taking. Like trade whatever trade you can make to maintain all of your risk parameters. If you've got an account with 500 bucks, you're not going to be able to take out the money positions. Your position size is going to be too big. You have to play a little further outside the money. So I'm much more concerned with your proper position sizing than I am with all the Greeks and all the nonsense on the options chain. Your number one priority needs to be maintaining your risk profile by lowering your position sizes. So now within 60-minute time frame of the European close, 11:30 Eastern time, another big red candle coming all the way down after that little green pop. I think we're just still waiting for Biden to talk here. Starting. All right. Someone said it's starting. I don't see it yet. 4250 calls. Right now, I'm not looking at calls just because I'm in long futures. If you do want to trade calls, I would be looking at 4270 calls. That's pretty much where we will at least bounce up to if we get a bounce here. But right now, it's absolute. We're in complete sell-off mode here, at least until Biden starts talking. So my goal is to control losses until he starts flapping his gums and see if we can get a Biden bounce there. So I've got 4250 puts up and ready. He's talking now. Oh, there we go. He is talking. Let's listen. I'm going to go quiet so I can listen. Still nothing so far. Just he's just talking. No, Scrappy. If you are long positions, do not let them go below S5. That's what I'm saying. S5 is my line in the sand. That's where any long positions I have, close them out, and then we'll start playing downside because that is a very crucial level. Do not diamond hand long positions under S5. So we'll see what happens after Biden stops talking. All right, he's done talking. He's done talking. So looks like it wasn't answering any questions. They cut the feed before, but we have a little bit of green here. Not much oomph, but we'll see how we go. We'll see how we go. He did that last time too. He was like, "Nah, I don't want to answer questions." So He had to go to Texas. He went down to Texas. So he probably is tired, man. The guy's old, and he's freaking dealing with Russia right now. He probably's not even sleeping. All right, all right. I should leave my class like that. Just leave. That's why I would highly support, even if I didn't necessarily agree with the next candidate's policies. Like, if we could get a freaking presidential candidate that was like young, I would be on board with that, man. Trump was old, Biden's old. Obama was youthful in his early ages. Nothing. It said, and Darren, he didn't say anything. So that's why the market was just anticipating maybe something. So I brought a market down. He didn't say anything of substance. So now a little bit more action back up. I think I just did hit I just hit presidential age, 35. So no, never, not in a million years. All right, so where do we go? A little bit of green pop and then immediate red. So still no buyer's oomph that we had yesterday. I would fly that thing. I'd fly my own Air Force One. No, because if I'm president, I wouldn't be allowed to trade, and that just can't happen. That just can't happen. All right, so we're coming all the way back down. It looks like a little red candle. A flying car? What do you mean? They talking about those like drone type style car things they got going on right now? That would actually be pretty fun. 200K in Europe. Oh, nice. Am I scalping these moves? No, I'm hanging out. I'm currently long futures right now. I have got puts up to play any downside, but at the moment, I'm looking at some 43.30 call credit spreads as well. They're currently going for 95 cents, trying to get maybe a dollar for them. We'll see. And the benefit of trading call credit spreads against long futures that are in the red, like right now I'm long futures that are red, but I could trade call credit spreads that are well to the upside. So in the event that we do start rallying, my long futures will protect my call credit spreads if we do get up that far here. So I'll be making a decision here. Maybe I'll start playing some CCSs up top, way out top, like I'm talking 43.30, 43.40 to see if we get any kind of rally. But Hungary has reportedly scrambled jets to suspected airspace violations. Hong Kong's tech market has slid 6.3%. Interesting. What expiration of the CCS is 0DT, so it'll be today, March 11th. Oh, thanks, Deke. Yeah, patience, baby. Patience is always a way to go. Always a way to go. I wonder how many people would be coming to the OM conference when we actually do schedule it. What do you think? 50, 100, 150, 20? I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. Right now, it's looking like Vegas. I have social anxiety. That's all right. 25 wide. No, I'm sorry, 30 wide on these. I'd be doing 30 wide on these. Yep, that's what we're gonna do. Yeah, anything we do at the conference, it'll be pre-orders. So we can have Taco Bell cater the conference. They probably do it too. I don't know. I'm looking right now. I'm looking at late summer, early to mid fall. If we did it, we'll see. Do you think we see top of the AM range today? Well, I certainly hope so. I'm long ES right now. But like I said, I will pivot. We're almost to the point here where I'll start pivoting downside. I'll play puts and close out the ESs. So be it. I played my thesis. It failed. Now we'll play the other side if we drop here. Yeah, that's why I was thinking late summer, early fall. So I don't want to go in like August because I don't want everyone to melt. Did I add to my BA position this week? No, I'm not ready to add yet. I'm not ready to add any long-term positions yet here. Yeah, and that's another thing what Vet just said. If airline tickets do triple, the OM conference will be put off till 2023. So I would love some Denver. I'd love some Denver. We all catch a Rockies game, go to OM Rockies game, and then it'd be awesome. That's a good idea. Let's do it. Let's see. Let's see right now. All right. Let's see how many people. Answer seriously. Answer seriously. I'm curious. Hey, little green action, by the way. All right. So what do we got? ES is now 4261. 4261. It would definitely be around that area. If not Vegas, it would definitely be right there. But right now, Vegas is the top slot. But we'll see. Yeah, I'll be looking to take the same trade. So 43.30s. Right now, I'm looking at 43.30s, 43.60s. I wouldn't do New York because that's too far to the coast. I would want centrally located. Centrally located. So right now, 60 people said they would go. 21 says they would not. 32 people said I'm not sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if we do it, it'll absolutely be live streamed. I'll stream it on Zoom or some sort of media outlet. Absolutely. Hello from Cambodia. Hello. Hey, what's up, Crypto Story? Welcome, welcome. Side trip to Boulder. Yeah. When you say wide, are you talking about the spread? Yeah. So when I'm looking at 30 wide, for example, 43.30s, 43.60s, that's a 30 wide spread. I'm in Denver, so I'm a bit biased. I feel you. I feel you. Do I still have long yeses? Yes. Oh, no, you weren't asking me. Oh. So unless something catastrophic happens, it looks like all my PCSs will expire worthless on the week. I work for Cisco. You kill my soul every time you mention Zoom. I'm a simpleton when it comes to tech, so I go with the obvious choice at the moment, so or at least my obvious choice. So obviously we had a little hang up at the last tier 3 call because Zoom capped my attendance at 100. So we'll see. If there's a better option, by all means, throw it at me. Throw it at me. I'll have no home to fly back to if I go to Vegas. Oh, see, me personally, my Mrs. OM would be coming too. She'd be at Vegas with me. So, plus I don't gamble. I might throw down a little blackjack or something, but I don't play. I don't gamble. Private YouTube stream, absolutely. Are you looking to play calls right now? No, just because I'm holding long ES right now, long futures. Nice, Joe. Well done. Come to Charlotte, North Carolina. I want to come to Charlotte regardless. Even wow, I just come out there. I love North Carolina. North Carolina. Man, people really like that my tweet about the Indian rocket. It's fun stuff. The company I work for specializes in virtual events. Hit me up if you're interested. You know what's going to happen is I'm going to make everyone. I'm gonna rent like 300 Oculuses, and we're all going to have just a virtual meeting. I've seen that thing. I think it's crazy. After we do the first OM conference, I will look at the international conference. We'll do a European conference. That'd be awesome. Me and Vet go over to Europe. Do you have separate price targets for your 3 entries of ES? Like, would you sell 42.51 entry at 42.65? Nope. I would just exit them all at once. Right now, my cost average on these babies. What is my cost average on these things right now? 42.72 right now is my cost average on them. Right there. there. Oh, my snowboard, I don't ski. Can I hit the slope? Yeah, absolutely. Just because you snowboard doesn't mean it. Yeah, whatever. All right, so we got a little green-a-roni. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Love to go, but depend on my situation at the time. S3 is real. It's a real test here. Yeah. Yeah. So right up S3, just above S3 will be really good here. So VIX is coming off hard, which is why I'm hanging on to these ESs here, seeing if we can make a little money on them. Make a little money. I feel you. I feel you. All right. Well, we're just kind of creeping up here. A lot of wicks. I don't see a lot of strength here. So we'll see how this does shake out. SPX. What do we got here? 0 March 11th. 43.30s. Nope, too high. 43.30s. 43.60s. 40. Yeah, that's more. That's a better way. It's a better way here. Got a little greeneroni. VIX is still coming off hard. I'm still hanging on to my ES longs. We are now. Oh man, not there yet. I'm still in the red on these things. Barely though. Just barely in the red. The winter slopes are sick in Vancouver. Hosting meeting. Yeah, next year. I definitely want to start getting away from Vail and start going to another ski slope. So anybody has a recommendation to want to come out and do some skiing with OM, come on. I'd love it. I definitely want to go to Whistler. Love to go to Whistler. It's got to. Here's the thing. It's got to be. I would prefer it to be a Epic Pass because it's like nothing. It's like $100 for my $140 for my Epic Pass. So Wolf Creek. Never been to Wolf Creek. Whistler. Definitely want to do Whistler now, especially now that I can do the Black Diamonds. Now that I'm a Black Diamond skier, I'm good to go. I told myself I didn't want to go other places until I could do the Black Diamonds, so I could explore the mountain. I didn't want to be just like hung up on just the greens. I want to be able to do the whole mountain. So now that I can do it, good to go. Yosemite, love Yosemite. Aspen Mountains. See, I heard the opposite. I heard Vail was better, but I've also heard Aspen's better too. So it's mixed. It's mixed. Vet, you're killing me. You're killing me. All right, so coming up on 10 o'clock, we got 29 minutes till the European market closes. Japan, I have heard Japan has got some amazing skiing. Not to mention, I would tear up some Japanese food, some authentic Japanese food. right. So just hanging out, just waiting for a move. A run above 427 could be a green reversal. Yeah, I agree here. So we're just kind of hanging out here. Not a lot of movement. We're just under S3. Just under S3. What's that paper on my lap? That was my knee board. That's where you have to write down METARs, all the stuff. So ATIS. Right, when you are approaching an airport, you have to tune into ATIS and you have to get the information. It gives the weather, it gives the direction, it gives the wind, it gives the runways, it gives any kind of notices. So you have to write all that stuff back. You have to write that stuff down on your knees when you're approaching an airport. It's called my knee board. What to do as a new member of OM? Ask questions. Hang out. You are tier 4, so ask questions from Vet. Big red candles, by the way. Smoking S4. Not looking good. I'm about to close out these ESs. I don't like this action at all. There's way too much selling action here. My thesis is not working out so far. Inbound with information Bravo. That's right. Yeah. 10:05 though. We've got 25 minutes until the European market closes. Did OM leave? What? No, I'm still here. Smoke show right back down to S5. I would assume, yep, that's what happened. UK is getting a little dicey here with the last 20, 30 minutes of their day. They close their market here in 20 minutes. Dang it. Oof, big sell-off. So 42, let's see, we're at 42.60s. I'm going to go 42.50s. 42.50 puts up and ready, March 11th. What do you need to watch the European market? Here, I'll give you my watch list. Let's go copy link. I'll post it in OM analysis. That is my watch list. That has all the European tickers I trade. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yep, my thesis was fill the gap from the pop and then maybe not necessarily a rally, but some bounce of some kind to bring us back up. And obviously, we got a little bit of a upward trace there, but not much strength at all. He was constantly wicked, and now we're just flushing right back down to where we were. I'm still holding. Anywhere below S5 is where I'll look to enter puts and close out ES. That's my thesis is S5. So I'm not going to let it go below S5. I'm being patient, but at the same time, I'm not going to smoke it. What I want to do is give this some time to adjust for European close, because when European market closes at 10:30 or 11:30 Eastern, we're going to have the pressure is going to release a little bit. So that's why I'm being very patient with my ES plays, because I think if we can get some upper pressure, we could retrace some of this red and come back to the top of the morning range, and that would be a significant win. That could make some decent money on that play. That's why it's very good to be market aware. You can kind of see what is going on here. You can draw a couple of different lines in the sand, whether it be timeline based or line based, and figure out your thesis instead of just kind of holding in the dark and not really understanding what's going on. I have a thesis below S5. I'm trying to hold on until 11:30 here and see from there. Go from there. My first question is how to ask a question. If it's based on the system, I'd prefer you ask it in the channels so everyone else can learn. If you've got a personal question about your particular details you don't want to release, then by all means DM me. Also, since you are tier 4, you need to go through and read about the systems in the Wealth Solutions channel, which is here. And then you can ask questions here. And yeah, and then read about other stuff in the PVI systems info. There. What would be the downside of selling your ES position right now and then entering when it rallies? No downside. No downside. You can do that. You can do that if that's you find. It's definitely that's why I'm saying that's precisely what I'll do before an S5. In my opinion, there's a time to close and there's a time to hold. Right now, I'm holding because I'm still within the bounds of my risk limitation. Below S5, I'll close it. I'll play puts. If we do start to bounce and head back up, then I'll re-enter. It's easy as that. You just have to maintain. That's why it's important to manage your emotions instead of sitting here thinking, oh blah blah, my position's still red. What am I going to do? I'm sweating. I need to hold on. I'm developing strategy. I'm developing system. What happens if this happens? What happens if this happens? If I really drop down below S5, what am I going to do? If I do drop down below S5 and we reverse and come back up, what do I do? I'll play puts to the downside. I'll close out my ES below S5. If we start to bounce, I'll re-enter the ES. I'll play calls up here. If we come back up to S3, I'll hold my ES longs again, and then I'll start throwing down some CCSs way up top. And I'll have my ESs defend my CCSs. There's a bunch of different stuff here to play. So stay on your toes. Think about all the different angles. And don't just get pigeonholed into just looking at your P&L, that red number. I don't even have my P&L number up right now because I'm not going to sit there and look at a red number. I want to look at the charts, the price action, the volume, and what the data is telling me. The charts will tell me when to exit, not my P&L. What's the best way to DM me? You could shoot me an email, optionsmillionaire2020, gmail.com, or you could jump in the Discord and DM me in the Discord. When do you usually close your 0 DTE spreads? Do you usually let them expire? It depends. It depends. I've got some PCSs expiring today. I'm just going to let them expire because they're way the heck outside the money. For CCSs, it all depends. It all depends. All right, coming all the way back down. Smoke show 427 to 425 on SPY. UK market is getting smoked at the moment. Big red candles. I've got puts up and ready. I was just about at break even on those things too. Now we're back down to the red. That's okay though. 4250 SPX contracts. Puts. 425 if you're looking at SPY. A little bit at the money here. Average price on futures long is now 42.65. 42.65. What line is stronger than the bottom of the AM or the S5? Well, they're both pretty much co-altitude right now, so I would call them. Yes, they are a couple of cents off, but I would call them the same for these purposes. Now that bottom of that range does increase the validity of S5 because we have time frame continuum that's correlated with the S5. So there's a lot going on right there. I'd love to see it respected. I don't want to see that get smoked because then we're going to bring in some pretty significant selling pressure. NASDAQ is lower than SPY. They are now forming new lows here, which is no good. No good. We've got 15 minutes until the UK market closes. Futures are now 42.46. We are almost 100 points off of pre-market highs. Do you ever set a stop loss? I do set a stop loss. Yeah, when I'm not monitoring charts and I'm walking away, I'll set a stop loss. Yeah. Straight red. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red candles in a row off that high going into this dirty 30. How much for S6 on SPX? Hold on, let me go through and do the calculation. 42.45. No, I don't think it'll crash 80%. We will have a retracement, but I don't think we'll crash 80%. That's an 80% crash in the stock market will. And if we have World War III, yeah, for sure. Other than that, no, you ain't gonna see that. The reason why the Russian stock market has tanked that much is because the entire world sanctioned them. They no longer have exports and imports, so of course their economy is going to crash. Do I think SPY will go down further? I'm still holding my ES longs, so take that for what it is. I'm only down 12 points on them. or I'm sorry, 14 points on them, which is down, yeah, definitely, but it's not getting crushed. So below here, I'll close and take puts. So I am I am putting my money on the fact that we go back a little higher, at least before we go down more. We'll see. I just saw a good question, but I can't find it. It disappeared. Trying to find it. One of these channels. Here it is. Yep. Yep. Definitely. Apple got smoked yesterday morning too, so there's definitely a lot of pressure in Apple. Any thoughts on why we're still falling? We are given all it is we are negotiating the headline pop. If we didn't have that headline pop, we would be sideways here. We would be chopping from pre-market highs. We would actually be up, but since we are selling off the headline from the pre-market, we think we're falling, which we are. Don't get me wrong. There is a lot of selling pressure here, but all we're doing is managing the pre-market pop from this morning. All right, enough of the comments on Biden, please. What war stocks am I trading? I'm currently holding Boeing, Lockheed, Raytheon. Those are my main war-related, defense-related stocks. All right, hey, that's the strongest green we've had in a bit. In a bit. Yep, I've got Lockheed. Yep, got a lot of Lockheed. My biggest defense position, as you all know, is Boeing by far. Two other biggest holdings from tech is Apple and Amazon. I live 10 minutes from Raytheon. Nice, nice. Which one? I know there's one in. There's a couple of different locations. I guess you don't have to disclose that, but yeah, I live about 2 hours from the closest one that I know of. Stock split going to do me nice. I was happy to see that big pop to 43.30 or not the 43.30, 30 what 3,200. I was happy to see that. I was happy to see that. Huntsville, and Louisville. Those are the two locations. Yeah, I actually know someone that works at the Huntsville location, and I used to know somebody who works at the Louisville location. North Texas. North Texas got a location too. Do you think USA can make a tank every 7 minutes like they did in World War II? That's a great question. Uh, the answer is no. The answer is no. In fact, one of my next podcasts is going to be exactly about the supply chain issue we have going on in the country, about everything, not just war production, but the tech industry, the food industry, the food service industry in terms of supplying fertilizer, and then obviously the war machine that we're going to have to crank up eventually. So, hey, reversal candle red. Uh, yeah, so no, I don't, because our foreign dependence on materials is far too high. So no, I don't think we could do that. No, it didn't. I didn't engulf both green candles, red candles. That's only a 40-cent red candle, so we'll see. Oh, yeah, I don't do the 1 minute. The VIX is still holding 29.44. Little green candle on the VIX here, still holding right on there, and we're coming right back down to the lows. That's why I'm holding on to these longs, Greg, is because I do think once we shake out the euro close, we'll have some green action here. We'll see, though. We'll see. Yeah. If you wouldn't mind hitting that like button for me, so we get that stream rolling, baby. Get the audience to expand, see the video. Appreciate that. I'm still got the 4250 puts up, the order form up and ready. No position on the puts, but I do want to throw down some puts if we start getting a little wonky here the last 5 minutes until the euro close. Almost did it there. Almost did it. Caught myself. How do you shake the market is out to get me in mentality. I'm extremely good at getting trapped. Man, you have to cut yourself some slack. This market is incredibly difficult. I mean, if you notice, I'm not even posting as many plays as I used to because this market is reversal city, face ripping reversal city. So you have to cut yourself some slack. In addition to that, maintaining position sizes will help control your emotions. I know I saw some comments last night and today about I'm developing a strategy where I show people the second I enter, the market immediately reverses. I know it's fun to kind of joke about that stuff, but it's a little detrimental to your emotional health because if you actually think that, then there's a reason why that's happening. You're not aware of certain demand supply zones. You're not following the levels. There's a reason why that continues to happen. You're following, and then on top of that, we've got biases that the market keeps going against because we have, all right, well, the war is going to tank us, but we rally 200 points. All right, well, now it's going to go up. Well, then we fall 100 points. So it's reversal city. And the only way to combat that is to do small position sizes, to maintain small position sizes. Otherwise, you'll just sit there and you'll bleed your account out in 5 days and you'll be gone. And then you'll just time to wrap it up. I know it's great to think about, hey, well, if I can catch one of these 150-point rallies with a call and 100% position size, I could triple, quadruple, quintuple my account. But look how many people are getting smoked by these reversals. So all it takes is one play to smoke your account. How do you trade a sideways trend day? It's kind of an oxymoron. Do you mean kind of like a choppy uptrending day? Is that what you mean? You just got to ride it. That's the thing. That's why the choppy trends, like the kind of like yesterday, is for me is difficult to trade because there's a fake out at every turn that just gets bought up, and we grind higher and higher and higher. I can play the face ripping rallies. I can play the face ripping sell offs. The choppy stuff that kind of just chops higher, 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 lower, lower, lower. It's difficult to watch. It's difficult to trade and hold because you've got like on an upwards chop day, you've got like 2 greens, 3 reds, and then 2 bigger greens, and then 2 small reds, and then 3 bigger greens and 2 or 3 small reds. So it just kind of like fakes you out every step of the way. All right, here's some more red right into the close, right into the bell. If we're talking about a true sideways day, then spreads. I would leg in to an iron condor for the day. I don't like on 0 DTEs. I do not like to open iron condors right out of the gate. I like to leg into them. All right, here we go. Another test of S5. We've been bouncing off of it all morning. A little bit of sell off there, right into the bell. So we've got about 30 seconds until the European market closes. So in the market close, all right, there's the European close. You're going to see a little bit of relief come in now that the pressure eases, and we might see some green here. We're holding S5. That's a good sign so far. Yep, VIX is just chopping at right in that mid 29 area. 29.57, 29.47, 29.30. So there's a euro market right there. There's their close. Testing S5 here. NASDAQ getting smoked. Lower, lower. And the puts right now. Yep, there we go. So NASDAQ is getting destroyed. Way lower. So tech is not having a good time here. Below here is no good. No good. XLF at the bottom of the range. Energy's got a little green here. XLY getting smoked. V getting smoked. K is getting smoked here. And I'm about to close these ESs. And right now, all right, I am in long puts on the 4250s. I've entered those puts. Bear with me while I switch over to my futures account. Looking dumpy. Looking dumpy. Not good. So we're about to start taking out some extremes here. So right now, hey, don't be calling out vet like that. Vet has a way of making ending the day correct. So careful calling vet out. So we're now down inside yesterday's PM range and AM range for that matter, because the PM and AM were almost identical, almost. The PM high was a little bit higher, but now we have dropped way down into it. After popping out at 43.30, we are now 42.37. A little 100-point move for you. Start the day off. Love it. What a time to get started. Yeah, I mean, it's a heavy day. We're getting smoked all the way down. Smoked all the way down. So I'm up, what, 9.5, 10%, now 11% on these puts, now 12%. So they're doing pretty well. They're doing pretty well. Now 14%. I agree. I'm actually looking at doing the same here. But if I'm taking a PCS, it's going to be way the heck outside because the way this is looking here, we're at a key moment where we're either going to bounce off demand or this is going to turn into an absolute trend down day, and down we go. That's the first candle below the AM range. So we're either going to retrace back to mean reversion into the AM range or we're going to go trend down, and down we go. Nope, I haven't closed in the longs yet. I'm up pretty healthy on the SPX puts here, so. I do have to hop off here in a few minutes. I've got an 11 o'clock call with Bookmap, actually. 12 o'clock Eastern time. So see if they can bring some value to the community. Nope, not a headline. We're just giving back. Basically, this was the market pricing out Putin's statement that negotiations are a bunch of nonsense. That's what that was. So Putin came out and said the Ukrainian negotiations were turning positive, and the market shot to 43.30. And now this is basically the market saying nonsense. I'm FUBAR. So and down we go. ES has fallen from 43.30 to 42.37, and now we're just hanging out. Haven't been reading any headlines, exception of CPI, and been trading. Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, it's been pretty awesome. March, February were uh, one of the best months I've had in a long time. Then March, the start of March has been slower because of the choppy nature of the market. So it's been fun to read. It's been fun to read. And it's definitely a learning lesson because you're getting decades of market experience in months. It's nuts. It's nuts. Well, it all depends on the headline. It all depends on the headline. Uh, you know, the markets decided to pop big time on that initial headline and then immediately sold it off. Immediately sold it off. It's interesting because the European markets grinded up the entire night. They grinded up all night long. The United States market kind of went down a little bit, came back up, and then peaked up at 42.70, and then the headline hit, and bam, we went from 42.70 to 43.30, and now we've given back not only the 42.70 but 30 points beyond that to 42.40. Love book map, can't trade without it. Well, hopefully we can bring a little value to the community and set something up with them. Do you think the inflation issue will keep the U.S. markets down for a foreseeable future? Yes and no. I think I would pivot that question to say I think it's going to keep the volatility up for the foreseeable future. I think the VIX is going to be maintained elevated for at least 6 months. All right, VIX is starting to come off a little bit here. I'm not going to pretend to know what's going to happen with the price in the next 6 months. I don't think anyone can truly tell you that. There are so many different headlines here. Now, if the Russia situation completely goes away and dissolves, I mean, Russia legit pulls out, goes back to his hole, and that's it, then I will see us retracing back to 4,500 and negotiating that level while the inflation starts to pick out. This is before we kind of pick out what's going to happen with inflation, rate hikes, etc. And we'll kind of trim down 4,400, 4,500, 4,600, somewhere in there. But the Russia headline has dropped us 300 to 400 points and is keeping us here. And then from here, do the Russia headlines escalate or do they deflate and we go back up? And that's the situation we are in now. That's why, look, any positive headline, and look what happened. Last night we had a 100-point rally, or 60-point rally, on a ridiculous semi-positive headline that was very obscure from probably the most manipulative, one of the most manipulative presidents in the world. What does this market mean for 401k? 401k. Someone not related to the stock market told me he was getting his money because he was losing. It depends. If you are close to retirement, I would consider going to a more of an income producing investment that's not necessarily focused on growth. If you are far off from retirement, I would not touch it. Red candles, low, new lows. Ooh, nice, nice, nice. So the puts are doing really well here. Going up, I'm 22% on my puts. So they have frozen the losses on my futures right now. So that's the only reason I'm holding on to those. But now I'm switching over to my futures account, and I'm going to close these babies out. Oh, bottom wick. Oh, big time bottom wick. That is indicative of reversal. That's interesting. That means we just bounced right off a demand zone there. See, that right there is why I'm holding two positions at once. That's why I'm holding long ES and I'm holding long puts. So right now, my P&L is frozen. I've frozen my P&L. And now it gives me time and the flexibility to choose a path. Choose your own ending. Because of that crap right there. Careful opening any trades right now. TOS having massive issues. All right, little PSA there. I'll tell you what I do, man. Two positions at the same time. Yeah. What does that mean, frozen P&L? All right, so I've taken opposite positions. I'm long ES and I'm long puts. Puts obviously go, they increase when they go down. Futures increase when you go up. So my P&L is not changing. Like the losses are not getting bigger because my puts when the market goes down, obviously the ES loses value, but the puts increase in value. So my P&L is frozen. It's not moving, and that's my intent of taking those long puts. Bam. So, and what this is doing, it's allowing me to wait out this red to see if we go back up, because I'm to the point now where I'm going to close these ESs. If we do come down here, then I could choose the ES, I could choose the puts, close out the ESs here. So a little position management. It's a little lesson in position management here. Now, this also builds on the fact of why you need to be doing small position sizes, because if I was doing 100% position size, I don't have the funds to manage my losing position. You don't have the funds to have this kind of flexibility because you've tied up all your BP into one position. So small position sizes, now you can manage. Now I can manage. I'm good to go. I'm just waiting for the market to pick a direction. No big deal. That massive wick right there tells me we are right at a demand zone here. What do you think of the impending death cross happening very soon? Well, I do think very shortly that we will see sub 4,400, or I'm sorry, 4,000. I keep saying 4,400, 4,000. So, I think it's happening. Both right now. Both right now. What I'm doing is I'm slowly transferring funds over completely to IBKR, and I'm pretty much 100% frozen or transferred over. I'm sorry. At this point, I've considered leaving a small amount of funds in E-Trade just because if IBKR locks up, I could still trade E-Trade. Not to mention small account challenge here, but I'm honestly I go back and forth because I'm getting tired of dealing with the problems with E-Trade. I've had to call them more in the past 2 months than I ever have. So I'm just tired of dealing with it. It's like, come on, man. You're supposed to be a high level broker, and they're just making a bunch of stupid mistakes. Frickin' the other night, I was on the phone with them for 45 minutes at 10 o'clock at night because they locked up my buying power. And I called the dude. I was like, hey, I've got, obviously I've got plenty of funds in the E-Trade. And he's like, yeah, you do. I don't. And I'm like, all right, well, the settlement period's cleared, all this stuff. Like, how come you're not letting me trade what I need to trade, like the position size that I want to trade? He goes, I don't know. And he's at home because it's the middle of the night. I can hear him washing his dishes. He's like, and in 45 minutes, he's like, oh. He came back with, I don't really know. Let's wait until 8 o'clock to see if the system resets. Like, well, yeah, okay. Well, you're waiting. I'm losing out on opportunity. So, and that's E-Trade for you. That's E-Trade for you. They just don't know. And it's system-related stuff. And it's like, I've got plenty of funds. Why won't you let me make a trade that I want to make a trade? I don't know. Let's just wait. Well, cool, dude. I just missed a 70-point rally because you're washing your dishes. So have a good time getting that crusted mac and cheese off the plate or your mother's meatloaf. Yeah, but all that was checked. Like before I make a call, I make sure all that stuff in order, and I had plenty of balances. Like my margin balance was sufficient and all that. So yeah, like crazy. I don't have millions on E-Trade. I have very small amount of funds on E-Trade now. All my funds have been transferred over to IBKR. The only funds I've got backup funds in E-Trade for the purposes of doing the small account challenge coming here in April and just in case IBKR goes down. It's nice having a backup broker, but don't get your hopes up though, because I'm not doing the same crap we see on Twitter. I'm not doing the same crap we see on Twitter where I'm trying to turn $1,000 into $100. That's just not practical or within the scope of what we do here. I'm just looking for movement, Slim Capital. I'm looking for movement. I was about, literally, I had brought up my sell order form on ES, and I was getting ready to smash the sell button, and then we wicked up. So, which tells me we're on a very strong demand zone. It's the first wick we've had like that. So, yeah. What's the quickest way to become a millionaire? Start trading with $1 billion. All right. Well, I do have to hop off here. I've got a call here in 10 minutes. I got to prepare for. Go get me a drink and give them calls here. I'll let you know what the details are, what we're going to accomplish with Bookmap, and see if we can roll out some products within the community. So thanks for hanging out with us. Unfortunately, yeah, we did have a unfortunate trade here with the selling action here, but I am properly positioned for now, and we'll see where we can go, up or down. I'll let you know exactly. I'll post in the OM plays the moment I exit or enter a trade, and I'll let you know. Let me know if you got any questions about anything you've seen, any of the content, anything you want to see, any questions about you have the community. You can shoot me a DM, or you can post in the applicable channels and just at me so we can learn together. I will see you all bright and early on YouTube Monday morning. If not, then I will see you in the channel this afternoon if we can kind of get some volatility. Until then, thanks for hanging out. I'm out.